Sometimes the most exhausting thing in life is not work, responsibilities, or even financial problems. It's people who constantly make us feel small, guilty, emotionally drained, and never good enough. Toxic people are not always obvious. Sometimes they appear caring, funny, supportive, and close to us. But after spending time with them, our energy disappears. Our minds feel heavy. Our peace slowly fades away. Many people stay too long in toxic relationships because they are afraid of being seen as selfish for walking away. But protecting yourself does not mean you hate someone. You can still be kind without sacrificing your mental health. Toxic people can exist anywhere, in friendships, workplaces, family, and romantic relationships. Some criticize constantly, some manipulate quietly, some always play the victim, some make you feel guilty for saying no. And the most dangerous part is that they often do all of this subtly. One of the first signs of a toxic person is self-doubt. After talking to them, you suddenly question yourself. You wonder if you are too sensitive, too emotional, or simply not good enough, even when you were perfectly fine before the conversation. Another sign is control. Toxic people often want everything to go their way. When things do not follow their expectations, they react with anger, silence, guilt-tripping, or emotional drama. They use emotions as tools to control the people around them. Another common pattern is that they rarely truly listen. Conversations always return to them. Their struggles matter more. Their feelings are bigger. And eventually, you become nothing more than a place where they unload negativity. The most dangerous thing about toxic relationships is that over time, we begin to normalize emotional pain. We convince ourselves that constant stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion are simply part of life. But they are not. Life is too short to spend it constantly defending your worth to people who refuse to value you. And it is important to understand this. Toxic people are not always evil. Some grew up in unhealthy environments. Some were hurt deeply and learned unhealthy behaviors. Some are carrying unresolved pain. But understanding someone's pain does not mean accepting their harmful behavior. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing toxic people will change simply because we love them enough. But real change only happens when someone becomes self-aware and genuinely wants to improve. You cannot save people who refuse to save themselves. Sometimes maturity is not about staying and enduring everything. Sometimes maturity is knowing when to walk away, because peace matters, and you are not required to sacrifice your peace just to keep certain people comfortable in your life. Dealing with toxic people is not about winning arguments. It is about protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Many people think the best way to respond to toxic behavior is to fight back with the same energy. But when you enter their negativity, you slowly become consumed by it too. The first thing you need to learn is this: stop taking everything personally. Toxic people often project their own insecurities onto others. They criticize because they are unhappy within themselves. They control because they fear losing control. They manipulate because they are emotionally insecure. So when someone constantly tries to make you feel small, it does not automatically mean you are small. The next thing you must learn is boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are self-respect. You are allowed to say, "I am not comfortable with that. I need space. I cannot do that. I do not appreciate being spoken to that way." And you do not need to explain yourself endlessly afterward. Healthy people respect boundaries. Toxic people become angry when they realize they can no longer control you. Many people avoid setting boundaries because they fear losing relationships. But relationships that only survive when you constantly sacrifice your peace are not healthy relationships. Another important lesson is to stop over-explaining yourself. Toxic people often twist explanations and use them against you. Not everyone wants to understand you. Some people only want access to you. Learning when to stay silent is also powerful. Not every insult deserves a reaction. Not every argument deserves your energy. Sometimes protecting your peace is more important than proving a point. And remember this: calmness is strength. You also need healthy support systems. Good friends, supportive family members, or emotionally healthy people can help remind you that you are not crazy, weak, or overly sensitive, because toxic people often isolate us emotionally. Another difficult truth is this: stop waiting for people to change for you. Many people waste years hoping someone will eventually become better. But if the same patterns repeat over and over again, it may not be a temporary phase. It may simply be who they are. You are not responsible for fixing everyone. Sometimes the highest form of self-love is distance. And if you cannot completely walk away yet, start protecting your emotions. Share less personal information. Stop depending emotionally on people who constantly hurt you. Slowly rebuild your confidence. Because toxic people slowly make us forget who we truly are. People often ask, if someone is toxic, why not just leave? But the reality is far more complicated. Many people stay because emotional attachment is powerful. There are memories, moments of happiness, and hope that things will eventually return to the way they used to be. And toxic relationships are not painful every second. That is exactly what makes them confusing. One day you are hurt deeply. The next day they become sweet, loving, and apologetic. That cycle creates emotional dependency. Some people stay because they are afraid of loneliness. Sometimes people fear losing someone more than losing themselves. Others grew up in unhealthy environments where emotional pain felt normal. So when they experience toxic behavior as adults, it feels familiar. And unfortunately, familiarity can sometimes feel like comfort, even when it hurts. That is why healing is so important. Love should not constantly make you anxious, exhausted, insecure, or afraid. Healthy relationships are not perfect, but they contain respect, emotional safety, healthy communication, and mutual care. Another reason people struggle to leave toxic relationships is guilt. Toxic people often make others feel responsible for their happiness. They say things like, "If you leave me, I'll fall apart. You're the only person I have. I act this way because you changed." Statements like these create emotional pressure and guilt. But guilt is not love, and sacrificing your mental health to save someone who refuses to change will eventually destroy you. One important thing to remember is this: walking away from toxic people does not mean you hate them. Sometimes it simply means you are finally choosing yourself. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some people enter our lives only to teach us lessons. Lessons about boundaries, lessons about self-worth, lessons about choosing peace over chaos. As you grow older, you begin realizing that peace is far more valuable than constantly managing drama and emotional exhaustion. Because life is already difficult enough without carrying the emotional weight of toxic people every single day. After spending too much time around toxic people, many individuals lose themselves completely. They become anxious, insecure, emotionally exhausted, and constantly afraid of making mistakes. That is why healing matters, and healing is not instant. Emotional wounds may be invisible, but their effects are very real. The first step in healing is to stop blaming yourself. Many people who leave toxic relationships ask themselves, "Why did I allow this? Why didn't I leave sooner? How could I be so blind?" But at the time, you were simply trying to love, understand, and hold on. Do not hate the past version of yourself that only wanted to be loved. The second step is rebuilding your identity. Toxic people often make us lose our own voice. We become so focused on pleasing others that we forget who we truly are. Start reconnecting with yourself again. Exercise, read books, write your thoughts down, spend time alone, listen to music, pray, rest, travel, create new routines. Small, peaceful moments slowly reconnect you to yourself again. Healing also requires healthy environments. Being surrounded by emotionally healthy people helps repair damage created by toxic relationships. Sometimes we only realize how badly we were treated after meeting people who treat us kindly without conditions. And remember this: trauma can make people emotionally guarded. After being hurt, it becomes difficult to trust again. That is normal, but do not let painful experiences completely close your heart forever. Trust takes time to rebuild. Another important part of healing is forgiveness. Not because what happened was acceptable, but because carrying hatred forever is exhausting too. Forgiveness is not always about reconnecting with someone. Sometimes forgiveness simply means releasing the emotional weight so you can move forward peacefully. And one truth always remains: you cannot control how others treat you, but you can control who has access to your life. As you mature, you begin understanding that the quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of people around you. So do not be afraid of losing people who refuse to value you. Be afraid of losing yourself while trying to keep them. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content about self-growth, healing, and mental well-being. Take care of yourself, protect your peace, and I'll see you in the next video.